That looks like a nice team you got there. It'd be a shame if somebody farted on it. What's good, chat? Welcome back. Welcome back. Sunday night, we're looking at some viewer games. We do have a little bit of a wrinkle in the usual flow of things, but we're going to be getting into a whole bunch of viewer games, and from what I've heard, from what people have been poking me about in Discord, is that there's a few that are pretty exciting. There's a few that are pretty exciting, and I'm excited to get into them, so let's do that right now. As always, before we jump in, I, of course, have to let everybody know that I am, of course, part of the content affiliate program. That means that the Phobies team does give me, well, some of that. They give me some coffee for producing Phobies content. Not specifically that coffee, but they do give me coffee. Gotta let you know before we get into things, but let's actually get into those games. Aren't half of them broken? Believe it or not, Urk, I went through and there were not nearly as many as I thought. There were like 6 or 7 that were broken, but we still have like 15 games in there right now. Some of them are dupes. Cool. Game breakdowns. We're going to start off with a cool one. This is from Karst. Karst is leading off here. It looks like we're likely to get... Oh, good God. This is a 57-turn game. Why? Now, this is sort of broken by the patch. That's why you see things just materializing as opposed to being summoned. Some weird things are going to happen. An excellent demonstration of problematic phobies. 57 turns and hardly a thing happens or can happen. So I think we're going to end up discussing a lot of things on this newish map, Diabolical. I'm pretty sure this is Diabolical. So, of course, balanced discussions are the talk of the town. They always are in every game forever. Because realistically, nobody wants to accept when it's their own damn fault, right? We're all human. Nobody wants to acknowledge when you make a mistake. I get it. And it's, you know, it happens. However, I think there are valid arguments to be made in the game of Phobies, depending on what the goals are. And the reason why I'm explaining all this instead of just, commenting on what's going on, I think the notes speak for themselves. So this will give me another opportunity to soapbox a little bit. So here's the thing. I did a video about this, I guess a little while back now. Hopefully I'll remember to put the thumbnail up there. Probably won't, but whatever. And the video essentially was explaining that Akira and other quote-unquote broken phobies are balanced, because depending on your perspective about what the end state of the game is, if everybody has them and everybody uses them in the same game, I find it difficult to make a compelling and coherent argument that if both players have access to the same level and same phobies, that the game is imbalanced. You could make an argument similar to chess, because chess is not it's not split down the middle. It's not 50-50. White wins more than black in chess. Like, that's a stat. It's true. Because going first is a huge advantage. In Phobies, you have the key advantage of one extra key going second. So depending on the map, depending on the strategy, depending on a variety of factors, you could make an argument that maybe second player actually has an advantage. We would need information that only the devs probably have to really, truly examine that. But the balance of the game is not the important part. The part of the game that's important is the fun. Are you enjoying the game? Because you could have an in-depth, cerebral, incredibly deep, and strategic game. If it bores everyone to tears, which I think Phobies... Well, I'll come back to that point. Excuse me. I don't want to muddy the waters, but if everybody's bored to tears, that game is still not going to be good, because the whole point of a game is to have fun. Also, why the hell is Glob showing up in this scenario? This makes literally zero sense. I don't understand what's going on. The fire ant is obviously running amok up here, and it's going to cause all kinds of problems. I do kind of like this Gravedigger block, but anyway. This is why I like the Gravedigger block, because lol. Like, all right, congratulations, you can break that block with your Gravedigger. I'm going to annihilate your guy. Ew, fun. Exactly. Now, the thing is competition and casual play. I alluded to this the other day, but in my experience, and I've been playing competitive card games since 1994. I've been playing competitive games in general for a very long time. In my opinion, casual players are far and away the most toxic part of any player base, not the competitive players. Now, they are closely followed by the grinders where they are like semi-pro or they think that they are pro. I have no idea why this muffin's happening because, like, now you can hit the statue? Like, this is just dead, right? 700? These are all level 1, by the way. I don't know why that muffin happened. But anyway, the point is that either group or any group within a game can gatekeep and cause problems and suck the fun out of a game. When we're talking about when it comes to balance and stuff, it matters for scoping. If you're talking about competitive play, competitive high-level play, by definition, things are going to get reduced to what are the most effective things. And I think that's fine. I don't think anybody reasonably is looking at Phobies and going, 100% of the Phobies should be 100% playable 100% of the time. I think if you end up doing that, you actually make Phobies boring because you end up in this scenario where everything's super bland. Having different abilities, things that are better in some scenarios, worse in others, makes things more interesting. The challenge, of course, then becomes how do you make things not have like super edge case scenarios where they're effectively useless most of the time and maybe not even great in the scenario that they want to be. By the way, this Akira going to do heinous things because these are going to get yoinked onto a trap and this is all going to feel very bad very quickly. However, I think it is reasonable as a player in Phobies to say many are verging on pointless, and not many, but several are in an overpowered category. I don't think my positions on this are incongruent or hypocritical. It just depends on what the goal is. If you want the quote-unquote most fun game, well, you have to define how fun happens. Is it... Because you could make every phobie viable and make them all super boring. But that might be fun for people just because I want to put out the guy that I think looks coolest. Or is it that you want to inherently have things narrowed down and it's these phobies are good within these skill and collection bands. And then when you move up to the next level, these phobies are good within these skill and collection bands. And then these phobies are good within. And then eventually, you know, you replace the alligators of your collection, the unbearables of your collection, and other starter ones with things like Akira and Attractor. As your skill level moves up, you are able to deal with these things. Another aspect is, what is the gameplay pattern that is created or promoted or removed, depending on the scenario, as a result of these phobies? Fire Ant is going to slow down the game. Your opponent can't reasonably engage most of the time. Also, you could say Cupcake is also problematic due to its acceleration of the game and causing things to just, oops, your whole board died. It comes down to what the goal is both for the player and the devs as to whether it's a success or failure in a given game. And I think that's what we're going to see or have been seeing throughout this game. I feel like I could have been commenting on this, but like we're just watching Akira, which probably could have gotten a pull by now and had its cooldown back, and it would have been beneficial. We can see now why the glob was probably going to appear if the intent was to go Akira. But realistically, Fire Ant all but locked this game up early on. It's kind of silly that is somewhat... I mean, look at this. This is absurd. This is very silly. Meaningful decision-making with an expanding set of tools means over time some tools will become the wrong choice. As long as phobies get added at some point, some phobies will get outclassed in some fields. Yes, but only in certain parameters. So by that I mean... if you look at a card game, they release hundreds to thousands of cards a year, right? We are getting, and I actually looked this up today, in 2023, I think we got like 20, low 20s of Phobies. And I don't think that there's... Now, they didn't create necessarily a ton of net new mechanics. They always do introduce some. You know, like Cupcake isn't a true... Nothing ever had this ability. We obviously had buff. We obviously had heal, but we never had a heal buff, let alone on a sacrifice phobie. Point being is that I think there's still a lot of room for Phobies to create new Phobies or variations of existing Phobies at different costs that would still allow for variation without necessarily obsoleting something. However, I think, Atona, you are correct that yes, on a long enough timeline, if you're not removing something from the pool, if you don't have rotation like card games do, you have to power creep things in order to make the new thing used over the old thing other than just by preference. So you could make Hevo 4.0 that is a carbon copy of Hevo 3.0. That could introduce some other problematic elements to the game, but putting that aside for the moment, let's say there was a Hevo 4.0 that was a carbon copy of Hevo 3.0. Better yet, don't make it Hevo 4.0. Make it Ice Shard Jin Sting. I don't know. Like, we're just making things up. But like a third Jin Sting that is a carbon copy of Hevo 3.0, except it happens to be a monster instead of a mech. Like, it even has all the same stats. There are scenarios where one would be better than the other. This would be a better example if I went back to the original one with Hevo 4.0. But the idea is that if these things exist and they're basically interchangeable, the only reason you'd use one over the other is if they're functionally the same, is if you preferred, I like the way the Jin Sting one looks as opposed to the way the Hevo looks. And that's what Atone is getting at, is that if you don't have some other driving force, some other inertia to push you to say, use this over that, this one's more powerful than that in the given scenario or in general, or you pull things out so it's just, hey, there are no more attractors. Here's Attractor 2.0. Now you can use this, and it's more of the same or whatever. There's no way to actually drive players to do these other things, because then it's just, hey, we're looking at palette swaps of things. Street Fighter, but every character is Ryu. There are a lot of games that are actually like that. There were actually a couple fighting games that are like that, but that's a good analogy, that if you played a fighting game and literally it was 12 character roster, but all 12 characters were identical other than being palette swapped, or maybe not even palette swap, maybe they have a completely different models. So they function identically. They have the same moveset, the same health, the same hitboxes, the same hurt boxes, the same etc. Except they look different. The only differentiating factor is what you think looks cool or what you want to play. And we could end up in a game state like that with Phobies where, by definition, some of these things are going to obsolete each other. Eventually, we'll have something that's just a better option than, like, Jin Sting, regular Jin Sting, I'm saying, as a general phobia. Or maybe we won't ever, and we're just going to be forever fighting for those other fringe pieces. That's why when we were talking about Temptress the other day, trying to get buffs for Temptress is weird, because what happens if Temptress is just the best Jin Sting, always and forever? Also, by the way, I feel like Karst is just torturing schemes here. I feel like Karst is just torturing schemes here. Because again, like, why haven't you Akira pulled this entire time? There had to be an Akira pull that was viable. I think that it's just the way games work, kind of thing. Like, it's like trying to make a triangle with 12 sides. Like, by definition, a triangle has 3, right? So we're trying to square peg, round hole it. Pick an idiom of choice. We're trying to do something that really either can't be done or shouldn't be done in a lot of scenarios. This is just stupid, though. That's why I think that... I guess where I'm going with it is that people need to accept that balance arguments often are more qualitative than quantitative. There certainly are quantitative arguments. If something is winning like an absurd amount, or its prevalence rate is just astronomical, and then its win rate is close to 50 because both players are using it all the time, or it's if one player has and the other player doesn't, the win rate is absurd. Okay, yeah, it's reasonable to assume that there's a problem. You do further investigation. However, if it depends on what the devs and the player base decide they want the end state for Phobies to be. And realistically, I've said this on many occasions, it is more beneficial, generally, for the devs to create net new Phobies because, hey, people buy the new thing. Additionally, I think there is value in having a quote-unquote bad Phobie in a cost with a certain set of abilities and combination of melee or range or powers or whatever, and it being bad just to prove to people that, like, hey, this idea doesn't work. Like, that's learning how to play the game. Because, for example, bad sushi, this is usually my go-to example. If you were to make a bad sushi that is good, I think the game would suffer for it. The reality in which bad sushi is good, I don't think is a Phobie game state we want to play in. At that point, I don't see what is their goal when adding new Phobies. If new Phobies often make old ones obsolete, you didn't add any... What? Chat scrolled. A good sushi? Yes. If new Phobies often make old ones obsolete, you didn't really add any variety. You make something unusable in order to have just have the new thing. Good example is Daisy and Pterodactyl. Yes, Pterodactyl has better stats, but generally Daisy is superior. There are very few scenarios where you need Pterodactyl anymore. But I don't think those two are comparable. Like, in general, I get what you're saying, Urk, but I don't think those two are comparable. I don't think Daisy obsoleted Pterodactyl. I think the player base's skill level obsoleted Pterodactyl. In fact, I don't see Daisy very often at all either. And I forgot who said it, but somebody pointed out that for using Pterodactyl as the example, it is very difficult to engineer a scenario where you want Pterodactyl because you often want it on an obstacle or over an abyss, and it can't resurrect on those. So you're paying 7 keys for a highly mobile damage dealer that possibly can resurrect, but is not very likely to at high levels. And that's why I was saying earlier that certain Phobies are just going to wax and wane depending on opposing skill levels and the player skill level also, and then collection levels, because at a certain point, hey, it's no longer good because people have now leveled up their skill and they realize, oh, I can just do X, Y, or Z. And I don't think that that's bad. There's also the point, going back to our discussion yesterday about the floor is lava, that I don't think people have really explored the depths of the strategy possible in Phobies. I don't think the build orders have been so defined that people truly know a lot of stuff like that. The original Mortal Kombat had an issue with something similar to that. I think across the characters, there were only 3 body types, and some characters had worse combos against smaller bodies. Couple that with Sonya having the only true infinite and working against all body types meant that Sonya is the only viable competitive character in the original MK. I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with the very first Mortal Kombat. You could also, I think it was Street Fighter 3 had Akuma, where it was like, there's the Akuma tier, and then there's nothing else. So, like, technically, that game is balanced. Because I wonder if bad guys intentionally setting this off. Like, probably not. They probably just wanted to do this. Technically, those games are balanced, which is why the balance discussion often gets very silly. Like, it can't just be, this is overpowered, this is imbalanced. Well, I could also argue it's balanced. So you need to make a more compelling argument as to why it is imbalanced. Like, what is the reasoning behind it? All right, we're finally getting the Akira, and we're gonna get to the end of this one. That long esoteric discussion just to watch Akira just do Akira things. I mean, look at this. This is just dumb. This is just dumb. Balance doesn't mean anything without a target. Everything always has a balance. It might just not be a fun one. Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, I am of the opinion that it is, we fixed Phobie before this game ended. Yes. You're not wrong. The thing is that, okay, even if we assume that the game is balanced or not balanced in its current state, right? Whether you think Akira or Fire Ant or whatever Phobies are, Boss, Gonzo, whatever. Unicorn, Bluelian, the list goes on. Cupcake. You think they're good, you think they're bad, whatever. We have to define where is it good enough, because realistically, we can't make the game, like, we can't spend an eternity fixing the game. There's no money, and I'm not one of the devs, but like realistically, there's no money made in fixing the game. There's some, but like, if you spend your entire time fixing it instead of producing new content for people to purchase, you're going to run into a problem financially and the game will shut down. Believe me, I've seen it happen before in other games. Like, the content, the thing that you are selling is for people to buy Phobies. The longer you spend fixing the old ones instead of creating new ones for them to acquire, you're just not making money. Yeah, that never happens, Satona. But that's why I'm saying we have to be reasonable about this. If we had an infinite timeline and infinite money, sure. Test it all day, every day, whatever. But I don't know about you, but I'm not going to live forever. I don't have infinite money. So I'm sure the devs are in similar positions. I don't know. I can't speak for them, but like, I think I can go out on a limb and say that. Point is that at a certain point, we have to call it good enough. And you can certainly make the argument that today, what we just witnessed in that Karst game, that is not good enough. But defining what the good enough end state, at least to a reasonable facsimile, you know, I don't expect somebody to write it down to the exact hit point on things, but like, give me an idea, because I think we can all agree that a 100% all Phobies are always viable is a great goal, but it's one of those, it makes a nice poster, like Live, Laugh, Love, one of those things that's like, it's the journey, because that's what it's going to be. Either way, GG, sort of. 5 years, 2.5 sets, the biggest of which was given away for free. Yeah. And not even like, oh, well, it was 20 cards bigger. No, it was like 60 or 70% of the card pool. Honestly, Atona, everybody from other games that I was playing around the time of Mythgard, everybody is like, wow, the art looks awesome. I would love to play that game, but not a single one of them played it. They never did. They would always talk about it, but they never did. So game 2, Rossarius. Is this going to be a 57-turn game, chat? It is not. I didn't check it before we zoned in. Good Boy versus Dragons. Gotta love some Good Boy gaming. What if you're a turtle and live for 200 years? I'll be honest. I don't think I want to live for 200 years. I don't think I do. Maybe I'll feel differently at other points in my life, I guess. Put it that way. Wait, is this map morbidity? Because I was about to say that to avoid being morbid. Is this more? No, this is Phasmophobia, right? I think this is Phasmophobia. Ooh, we get a little puff action. All right. What if the real Phobies were the friends we made along the way? Exactly. Actually, would that be weird? Would the real Phobies being the friends we made along the way? Like, is that saying that you're afraid of your friends? Like, are you making your phobias friends, or are you making your friends phobias? I don't know what that means exactly. That's a Jaws, by the way. I do love Jaws. Funny thing is, the developer claimed that free-to-play was a terrible model and claimed he'd never make a free-to-play game again after Mythgard. He blames the model instead of his incompetence. No, he did blame the marketing and said, like, the number one reason that was provided for Mythgard's demise was the marketing. Oh, we're getting the play, chat. It's happening. It's happening. Phobies, I hear a song coming on. Hit it, Evo. We don't... Do we have a musical? Well, we have Conductor, right? So, all right. So, Conductor can lead the... Who's in the Phobies band, chat? And what instruments are they playing? But yeah, Chona, I do know they don't want to make free-to-play games. Gonzo's 100% in the band. Gonzo's 100% in the band. Who else is a musical phobie? Muffin, right? Is Muffin the lead singer? We know Muffin can whistle. Oh, Blondie, heavy metal. The deep cuts. The deep cuts. I like it. Chat, somebody post this question into my Discord. Somebody post this question into my Discord. Also, for the record, there's only one good boy and one dragon. Well, two good boys and a dragon. So unless we get a Noxious, I don't know if this really counts as, like, Team Dragon over here from Rossarius. I feel like we're, somebody's stretching the truth a little bit here. Baby Snake, he got the little rattle. Well, the musical thing would be a maraca, but a baby rattle is just what it's called. But a maraca? Alright, so we have the cymbals. We got a maraca. We have the lead singer. We have a conductor, if we really need it. What else we got, chat? Oh, we had Blondie for heavy metal. Steve's really feels like he just burps. When he craps out the frost trap, it looks like a burp to me. Oh, got him! We got Dial for when we need an ad break. No, Dial's going to be the Jumbotron at the concert. You know, like if you go to a concert at a big stadium, they'll put the performers up on the Jumbotron. That'll be Dial. Brony and maybe Leshy? Why them? I feel like Leshy is not Manning, but Leshy is literally the merch booth. I picture, like, t-shirts hanging from Leshy's branches or something. I don't know why. Hi, baby. Chat, I got a new toy today. We had to do we're going around doing Brony because of the dance. Okay, so Brony's the backup dancers? Or maybe just, like, the performers? I can get behind that. Contortio then would go along too, right? Contortio's literally a performer. And they have to be able to dance. Maybe it'll be like a Cirque du Soleil thing, but... Do we get Goon to be the bouncer? Chat, somebody's got to post this, and I'm not even trolling. One of you in chat's got to post this to my Discord. Also, I can't believe we got a Pischetti. Why did Pischetti happen? Sorry, Rossarius. Sometimes tangents happen. Yo, Blue? I don't know. I'm not really a big concert person. Are balloons a thing at concerts? Matic Ginsting would be backup vocals because it moans? I feel like a lot of phobies end up, like, if we're just going to say it, like, any noise like that. I feel like Ginsting and Matic Ginsting would just be there, but be in the crowd, because no matter what, there are always annoying, stinging insects. Maybe Pischetti for the multiple drumsticks? I can see it. I can see it. Or do we get Daisy, since Daisy will be pulling off bones to use them as drumsticks? What phobies have enough fingers to play, like, guitar or something? Are you saying that sight unseen, Atona? Or do you have, like... I only saw the commercials for that game, so I don't really know much about it. Alright, now we officially have hit Dragon Gaming. I'm pretty sure there are no other... Is there another dragon? How many fingers does Heartbreaker have? I could see a world in which Ginsting could play, like, a string instrument, because, like, what if it can just, like, bend its arm? Oh! What about Octonauty or Pischetti just playing guitar? They got all them tentacles. Get the counter, Gonzo. Bwom! Get cooked. Or a base? Yeah. Yeah, why not? Splat. Sorry, Rossarius. This kind of consumed the entire replay. This ridiculous idea. You know what's funny? The toy I bought today, chat? It's a G.I. Joe named Viper. And she has a mask that kind of looks like Daisy's head. Why is the encoding overloaded? I just got a notification that the encoding's overloaded. I'm going to have to double check this when I go to render this video for YouTube and see what's going on. Like, it's not showing that frames were skipped, but it popped up with a notification. Which is weird. It happens my 3-swap Graylane game was consumed by a convo about food. We take one for the team. Sometimes it happens. I do get comments from people. Usually people don't complain and be like, hey, you ruined my game. Actually, I don't think I've ever had that. Which, if people feel slighted, apologies. Feel free to tell me that. I'll try and make more effort. But I do feel like there is a sizable contingent that show up explicitly because we digress into, like, the most idiotic things sometimes. I'd like to believe that's true. Maybe it's not. But either way, GG Rossarius. Mexicano 187 on the once lure against quote-unquote Hoploy. It's a typo in the submission, but that's fine. Level difference doesn't matter. Hashtag just joking. This map sucks. I will say it every time this map comes up because this map sucks. Yeah, Hoploy. You never heard of Hoploy? They're terrorizing the ladder. This is kind of an interesting opener. We haven't seen something like this in some time. I actually kind of like this because if Hoploy were to swing the cat to the center instead of the top, then you can kill it because your Gravedigger plus the Snowball kills it, and then your follow-up probably ends up killing the Murder Wing. Although maybe not necessarily because Hoploy is level gazillion. But yeah, I don't like the once lure. It is a player-created map. I'm still of the opinion, although in this case, since it is a hated map, maybe it's better that it isn't the case, that I was going to say, I feel like the maps should have the player who created it somewhere on the map. I don't know how they would do that, short of just like literally putting a text box in one of the corners or something. Maybe you put it on like on the fringe on the outside where it's not the playable area, and you have to zoom out. I would rather if it was much more obvious, but the problem with that is since this is a very oft-maligned map, I don't want people to like bash the person who created it. Interestingly enough, like, the other player-created maps, I feel like the once lore comes back way more often than the other player-created maps. Is it just me, chat? Also, we're getting the Battle of the Attractors here. Okay. Also, now that I think about it, Urk, that triple Graylane game that you had, didn't I do a clip out of it? I feel like I did. I remember doing Graylane clips. Like a YouTube short, I mean, / TikTok. Akira? Who could have possibly seen this coming? Literally anyone with any functioning brain cells. Like, if you don't have literally frosted flakes between your ears, you probably could have done it. I think you went back and clipped them, but I don't remember seeing the clips anywhere. Anytime I clip it, I usually upload it to YouTube. If I did not, I mean, I guess that's not impossible. All right, so we get the boomer. I wonder if... No, because this will pull forward. I was going to say, if, like, this Akira went down here, could it yoinks and then pull this Akira into the pit? So this is similar to the discussion with Karst. I think the intent... Like, the devs saw this coming with Akira. Rossarius and Boomer were around the time... Well, Boomer, at the very least, was around the time that I think Hoploy first got Akira. No, it couldn't have been that soon, because Boomer was in the first expansion. So it was more a future-proofing thing. All right, we get the Rossarius. Noxious. I like that response. That makes sense. I just don't know if these are enough. But this does still go back to the discussion that I had in the Karst game of... Okay, I'm going to pause this for a second. Let's assume that Boomer and Rossarius are reasonable answers to Akira, even on a map like the Once lore. Sake of argument, let's assume that it's true that these are really actual legitimate answers. Is that even a game that people want to play? I don't know. I don't know if that game is enjoyable enough to suffer through with this. Good position here from our hero, by the way, because the Gonzo could have juiced the Noxious from here and then just, like, annihilated the team. I think my best Graylien game was Heart Rushing with Graylien as my last Phobies. Swapped that Unbearable that wanted to kill me and cap the point, then they couldn't recap in time and they lost. I think I remember that. Ooh, this is happening. Chat, this is wild. Look at this. That's a great play. Hold on. This is an amazing, amazing heads-up play. You get the Akira yoink. Look at it. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. As soon as I saw the Gravedigger move, I knew what was happening. But obviously, our hero here in the blue trunks already knew what was going to happen. Bye-bye, Akira. Chat. That was dope. That was actually ridiculous. That was, in fact, redonkulous. And, like, that's game, right? Okay, you got my... Congratulations. I'll trade my Gravedigger for your Akira. I make that trade 12 times out of 10. Would trade again. This isn't even, like, a monstrous loss here from, like, the things that are lost from our hero. It's not even that bad. What ended up getting lost? So it's Akira and 2/1 keys versus Gravedigger and Cat. Like, by the way, that emote, I know what it is, but because it's so distracting because out of the corner of my eye, there's a flash every time that it rotates. Because the like the sun flare. It's just super distracting. Because, like, I'm looking at the monitor, right? Like, I'm watching the game, and then out of the corner of my eye, it's just like, flash, 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 flash. Does Hoploy, like, just surrender here? And unless they just literally send, like, full send everything into the team, I don't think there's any way that... This is a good pick here by Hoploy, that's fair. I guess that had to die from the hit. Otherwise, like, why wouldn't you just kill it with the fire? But Obviously, this gets cooked. Still 6 keys for our hero. And obviously, Akira's not back. So now the Attractor is back, though. So that means that, like, if you can kill the Noxious, you could pull on this and yoink everything in. Like, that's a big splash right there. All right, so we're just going to get the... Are we going to get what I was saying? Yeah, because you can... This is another good heads-up play. Not nearly as impressive as the Akira setup, but, like, this is a good heads-up play. So this allows for the takedown there. You have the juice on this. Attractor into the pit. You're going to get the kills here. Obviously, your other Phobies are... Like, Akira's just safe now. Puff cannot stay. Like... Well played. Well played. This is part of the reason that you can defend the Once lore, is that Abyss tiles do not care how high level your Phobies are. Abyss tiles do not care. Your Phobie's dead. If you screw up your positioning, which is what I think most people, if you ask them, like, what is the most important thing in Phobies? Putting aside, you know, have more levels than the other guy. Position your Phobies properly. If you don't, this is what happens. GG. Well played. That was pretty cool, chat. That was actually pretty cool. I like that. That play was sick nasty. All right, so we're going to skip over the other Karst game for now. I think we will get to look at it. All right, quicker games here. Back on Diabolical, not a nearly 60-turn game. Dino Nuggy. If I had a nickel for every time Front had won me a game by going for the heart in the last month, that had to have been an autocorrect thing, but I don't know what that is. I'd have 3 nickels. Which isn't, but it weird that it happened thrice. I know what you were going for there, but I feel like autocorrect just, like, kicked the crap out of you in a back alley, Dino Nuggy. Autocorrect just, like, they gotcha. They gotcha. So our heroes in the blue trunks, why they decided to go for not Snowball, I don't know. I mean, it kind of worked out here because this can slide on up. The Droney can slide on up to cap this point. Early Hevo 2.0. Don't hate it. This is kind of interesting because you're going to get hit here. They can fireball you off the stim. This feels like, I was about to say, like, is this just dead? Yeah, it's just dead. I thought it might survive, but nope. So that's kind of feels bad because even if it lived, the Hevo's not in position in order to actually help. So I didn't love this positioning. That is just a mistake. What are you going to do? I do not like this either because it's entirely possible. Snowball exchange. Yeah, they couldn't hit it. Yeah, the Hevo was just a hair's breadth away. Now, I don't like this either. Are we on? Yeah, this is actually a ladder game. The reason I don't like this is it's entirely possible they just decide to trade the Snowball and go, okay, I'm going to slap the Hevo twice, but odds are this just walks away. I don't know. I guess it's whatever. If Hevo could push, Snowball could have died to Droney on stim. Yes. Yeah, but that's like, well, if things were completely different, then something else would happen. Yes, that is accurate. Barzilla, everybody's favorite hungover lizard. I do not feel like Barzilla's drunk. I feel like Barzilla is hungover. Because being drunk isn't what most people who consume alcohol are scared of. It's the hangover that people are concerned about generally. I mean, I guess there's... Well, we won't digress into that. We get sheep. Huh. I'll be honest, I don't understand the sheep here. I mean, it could be here just to bully and say, hey, don't be here next turn. That looks like a nice team you got there. It'd be a shame if somebody farted on it. How's that for an intro, chat? Oh, this is bold. Got him. Only one poison. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can get a healer. I don't love this. Like, this is just a dead sheep. The playground taunt there, Urk. Yeah, I don't love this. I get wanting to get value out of the sheep, but... I don't know about that one. I don't feel great about that one. Moly Bully is interesting on here, too. Not a great burrow map, because, sure, you can evade the stuff, the obstacles, but you're going to end up on poison, or disease tiles, rather. Admittedly, and we've discussed this before, covered this before, that these, the demon horns up here, the disease tiles, are not that threatening. Now, like, you can tank it, but here's the important part. Panic point advantage, ever so slight, but panic point advantage, and that's a Hevo 2.0 on the stim. Bad guy needs to respond. Their response is Sparky. Is that good enough? We're about to find out. I have a feeling that it's not. Moly Bully gonna pay for its sins? But this is what happened, or similar to what happened in the... Has Diabolical been back since it was first in the rotation? I don't know that it has. But either way, every time Diabolical is around, it turns out to be a fairly rush-favored map. Because again, like many other rush-based maps, Heart Rush we're talking about, not like rush down for panic points, or rush down, let's just get in there and barroom brawl, the Colosseum sort of maps. It is incredibly difficult to defend here. Now, Bad Guy does have a Terraform to possibly open up another one of these. Probably next turn, Barzilla goes here. But, like, look at this. How many turns have they had to stage their advance lest they just lose whatever they're trying to defend with? Like, if the Sparky went here, I don't think it dies, but, like, it's definitely going to get the crap kicked out of it and then probably just booped away. Again, then it won't get double hits. Not that it's going to get double hit next turn, but... it's tough to defend due to the choke points that are here. So if you can lodge yourself as the aggressive player in, like, just wedge yourself in here, it can be really challenging. And because the disease tiles, they're more of a psychological deterrent than they are an actual deterrent. Sure, you have mechs up here, right? But you can absolutely park even a dimensional on those tiles and just go, yeah, it doesn't matter. Who cares? All right, looks like Hevo 2.0 is cooked. Bad Guy appropriately claiming this panic point. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Yeah, you're up 5-2. And you can claim this panic. Yeah, like, all right. This is more what I was thinking. Like, you can clear these out, and then what are you going to send in? Or no, you're not going to clear it out? I thought there was enough damage to kill that, and then... okay, Snowball comes in. There you go. That's a lot of blue panic points. 18-turn game. Couple ammo. Well played, Dino. Well played. I will tell you right now, I'm fairly confident that Bad Guy thought they had that game in the bag. They're like, oh, their most important phobia is off in left field doing nothing. They're punching my heart, and who cares? Your heart does. Your heart cares very much because it's dead. It cared. Past tense. It no longer cares because it's dead. GG. I think that is just the fact of the matter on that map. Like, the games can end in such incredibly short order that people don't necessarily react quickly enough. And if you don't respect heart pushes, it's just kind of like, all right, well, that's the ball game. Next game up, Potentia Dos. Potentia 2. Oh. And pings from my wife. Not sure what's happening. Sorry, chat. So we get a... When was the last time we saw a Sucky opener, chat? I think the last time I saw a Sucky opener was DT. And that was like... in the ye old year of our Lord 2022, I think. I distinctly remember Sucky openers on Red Rum, which ironically is back in the rotation. But this, I don't think we've seen a Sucky in a while. But speaking of other bugs, we get a Wiggy. Do you think Tickles goes in the bug family, cat? Chat? Not cat. I'm looking at Razor Mouth and saying cat. Is this just dead? Oh, okay. I was about to say, do you just, like, murder the Wiggy? Because then Bad Guy, like, what is that position? Also, shout out to Bad Guy, because Bad Guy did submit a game. Bad Guy did submit a game, but it was broken by the patch. And the reason that I know they did is because I looked at it, and their name is just Jeremy. So shout out to Bad Guy. Like, I love internet names. They're so funny to me. And they're the funniest internet names to me are, oh wow, that Wiggy is actually kind of tanky. What level is that Wiggy? Oh, this is level 1. These are all level 1. It's always funny to me when people just have a regular name. Bad Guy is also your friend? Awesome. What's good, Bader? Yeah, it's just funny to me. And I love it's Jeremy, period. I don't know why. Like, the emphasis there now is amusing to me. Just makes me giggle. But as far as the game goes, Phobie choice, other than the Sucky, which was a little weird, but Sucky does have its use cases. Sucky does have its use cases, and other than that, the Phobie choice just like, yeah, these are pretty strong. And it's just kind of been, I'm going to pick off your guy, I'm going to pick off your guy, I'm going to pick off your guy, and because I had first move advantage as first player, I have the panic point advantage. Now, the erratic coming out could change the calculus on this, but the erratic is going to probably move here next turn, and then the turn after that expose itself. But here's the play. I was wondering, did I read the notes for this game? I don't know if I did. I feel like this could actually be a decent strategy on Penny Drop. Pressure them hard. If they don't respond, lock them out so they lose all their board control. This came up the other night. I think we were watching Monster of the Week games, maybe? But we were talking about people locking other players out here. Now, the context for the other discussion was, what if you gargles and then put like a lobber here and just shred their heart? But I think this is way more reasonable. This seems way more reasonable. I'm not really clear on why this needed to move. Like, this could have stayed here and there's just no touching it. It was like, even if the Gravedigger breaks this, an Oculus in this position can't be hit. Whereas now, like, okay, these three things are getting hit. I feel like the Inoculus didn't need to move, and then the Inoculus can hit from here. But this is actually hysterical. We're going to get a sheep hit on double undead and a dimensional, one of which is erratic, which that was always everyone's favorite answer to erratic. When in doubt, fart on them. I guess that's a thing you can do. In case people didn't know, yes, you can shoot through gargles. Pew pew. Get pewed. I guess that works on multiple levels. Because you got the sheep. Little reposition here to make sure erratic doesn't just, oops, I leached all my health back. It's going to leech a lot of health here, but I mean, it's still going to leech a lot from this, but it does take down the Inoculus. But the sheep lived, which means it's going to live to attack. It can't pew again. I'm sure people would question the undead, but the undead into with a resurrect is decent enough. Panic point advantage briefly going to be in favor of our hero. Gargles does thaw. Sheep is clearly dead. There's probably enough damage to kill Gargles then. So like you claim this point, you kill Gargles. You got to do this properly or the you're going to lose possession of the point. Oh no, you can't. Oh no, there's not enough damage. Gargles is not something I commonly see enough to have any clue of like, okay, well this is roughly how much health it has. Gargle's just slapping the crap out of the heart. There's absolutely not enough damage to be able to dislodge the Tooth Fairy. I do like this play from Bad Guy. I appreciate the play. You break the block so that way it opens up the line of sight so that you can get the hit here. Get the challenge play to move. But Tooth Fairy does you in. I do like the aggression here. This is another one that we're going to have to keep an eye on for the penny drop. It's calling back to early rank plays where it's probably one of the first maps where somebody locked someone else out or got locked out by a Gravedigger. And you go, oh, that's really cool. And then you're forever trying to do it on Biff's room, on this map, on a variety of other maps. But then people always play around it, or you just never really have the opportunity, or it's just more efficient because your opponent's going to see it coming, just break a block and then you never really have that threat. But a Gargles like this can just set it up and may require a little less setup. I don't know. We got to examine it a little closer, but definitely a cool plan. Good job, Potentia. GG. Sorry, checking Discord real quick, chat. All right, next up. All right, SirCluelessQ actually submitting a loss. So shout out to SirClueless here. I know I've seen SirCluelessQ's name in the queue before. I don't know if it was and the previous games were broken or if we actually did review their game. But either way, welcome. Definitely a hard throw, but it had a good chunk of fun with Radiator. Gotta love a little Radiator action. But we're back on Penny Drop. We're getting a unique opener from Bad Guy. Specifically, I mean, one drop corn is okay, yeah, sure. But Spud is a little different, and I do kind of like it here as a potential opener. It obviously defends this point pretty well. You can't run your one key here quickly enough. So that shoos away the Electric Cat. Neither player interested in taking a point. This is a very methodical opener thus far. So Bad Guy is absolutely pushing in, keeping their foot on the pedal, continuing to add Phobies to the board, as is our hero. But in this case, going second, key advantage, Innocuous. Seems pretty good on this map. We've talked about it on many occasions. I don't think it really needs to be explained too much. It's a very strong phobie. In fact, it covers literally all 3 panic points from where Cassowary is. Is that going to happen? We'll see. Oh, no. No! No! Chat. Cupcake. Why? Like, real talk. That's just the game right there, isn't it? I wanted to spam, but the flashing is... I mean, it's fine. I was making a joke earlier about spamming that, but yeah, that's a RT Chompo now. I don't really get the... Okay, so I think I remember why I love Cupcake again. So, one comment, I don't understand what this is doing at all. Oh, yeah, this is a real bad choice. This is going to get blown up by it. What level is this? A level... Why does Corn do... Come on. Why is it a 700 damage trap? You should not be able to one-shot. I mean, I guess it I don't know. Whatever. I'm too annoyed by Cupcake to really be coherent right now. But Cupcake needs a warm-up. Cupcake needs a bunch of things, to be honest. There are a lot of different ways that Cupcake could be changed. Also, it's hilarious that it's a 1-0 panic point advantage. We're on turn 12. Both players are banking. Our hero's up to 10. So up to this point, SirClueless, not a throw. You got beat by Cupcake, and there's on the ladder, there's no reasonable way unless you already know. Be like, there's just no way to know. And I don't think it's reasonable to assume that they, like, oh, well, if they have Cupcake, I lose here. It's like, well, most players just straight up don't have Cupcake. So 8 keys to 4 remaining. Bad guy is maxed out and on full retreat in order to not get blown out by Akira. I don't know about this one. Yeah, I don't know about this one. 22, so we'll say 6. It's 1,017 and 5 is... This is dead. Or should be dead. Like, there's no world in which there's no trap on this, right? There's no reality in which there's no trap. I'm pretty sure Akira just dies. There's Snowball as well. Exactly, yeah. Okay, I get where the throw was mentioned now. Yeah, this didn't need to happen. Like, you could have just probably just killed the cat with the Innocuous and then walked the cassowary up here. Not that there was a trap there, but even if there was, I don't know. There's a lot of ways this could have gone. I get the problem. It's fine. It happens. We all do this. Why sack Snowball instead of Corn? Sack it to what? Like, just the counterattack, you mean, here? I don't know. Do get a solid Radiator hit here, which you love to see it. That's a big oof moment. That didn't kill the Innocuous? How many things hit this? There was no world, like, there's no way. Okay, so you get the spread here, you don't really have a choice, right? You hit, you get pulled. I guess, like, okay, so technically only 2 things hit it. It's the Radiator hit. Oh. That's why. Honestly, if so, like, this is clearly a high stress level game. You know, we're looking at level 15s and 16s. This is a fairly high stress level game. If the Radiator was on that level, I think Clueless wins this game. Well, maybe not, because they still have, never mind, they still have 5 keys. So the combination of Jar, Corn, and 5 keys probably kill Radiator, and then it's like Corn, Jar, Thing, in this case Ray, versus Innocuous. So yes, throw. But you were in that weird position because of Cupcake, and Cupcake can go to hell. Cupcake can go to hell. GG. GG, yeah. This one, I I do like the cool radiator play. It kind of sucks that it was under-leveled, otherwise it would have been even more impressive. But GG, Clueless. That one's rough, chat. That one's rough. All right, the notes for this one are kind of funny. All right, we got an Urk game here on Dearly Departed. The notes are a game of all time. Of all the games, this was in fact one of them. So let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. Is Dearly Departed the... Is this everybody's favorite map out of the new ones? Newish ones? You know what's interesting, chat? Is that we got Frosty, right? And Frosty was an out-of-band phobie. We have gotten, like, there's precedent to a degree for phobies to not show up in a major patch. We got Poison Ivy and Blinky way back when, before the full disclosure patch. Presumably, you know, you kind of give them a pass, them being the devs. It's just an exception because, you know, it was likely supposed to be in the game. You know, there was some issue, so then they patch it in. All right, fine. However, we just got Frosty. It is a bundle phobie, so okay, there's something. Hey, giggles, let's go. But the reason I bring it up is now I'm curious how often or will we ever get out-of-band map deployments now that we've had out-of-band phobie deployments? My guess is no. My guess is no, but I guess nothing's impossible. All the maps are kind of in the same tier to me. They're fine. I think, all of the new maps. I love this palette. Like, the art assets on this one are my favorite. But I was always going to love the Symphony of the Dead. So, Giggles into a tractor from Bad Guy here. Our hero banking up to 8, able to control most of the board thanks to that murder wing down here. Bad Guy, of course, had to... They end up sacrificing their cat anyway, which I don't love. My God, what is going on with my phone? I'm moving it over here. I hope that isn't getting picked up by the mic. The classic counter attractor. The classic counter attractor. Chad, I just finished a book that made a big deal out of anti-gravity. And the fact that, like, it didn't exist as a technology and then they discovered it. Seeing the attractors float there made me think of it. Honestly, I didn't, like, the book was fine. I don't think I could really, like, recommend it to anybody. I could describe it to people and then you would decide, okay, is that something that sounds interesting to me? But I don't think, like, if I had the option, I don't know that I would... Like, if I knew going in what I know after reading it, I probably wouldn't have bothered to read it, which I guess you wouldn't anyway, because, like, why would you read it if you already knew? It's a weird way to put it. I don't really know how to explain what I'm thinking right now, chap. Either way, we're getting a little defensive posture. Panic points are even. Nobody wants to claim this one. We do have terraforms for both players. More keys available for our hero, though, than for Bad Guy. I don't really know what was going on with this standoff up here. Okay, so we get the break in the middle. This ought to be adorable. This ought to be adorable. Every time I see Finnegan, I get excited. Finnegan is a fun phobie. Finnegan, honorary good boy. Has to be. Is there a Finnegan represented on any of these? I don't think so, right? I don't know what phobie this is supposed to be. Because, like, the other ones, I mean, some of them are generic tombstones, mausoleums, but, like, this could be Doom Doom, this could be Russell, this could be Edgar. These are probably Russell or Edgar. This is probably Snowball or something. This is Mummy. This is the cats. Although I guess you could say that, well, the cat is eating the sushi. What is this one? Ooh, speaking of Mummy. Speaking of Mummy. When I said that, I could actually feel my own voice reverberating in my desk. I don't think that's Daisy, though. That looks more like an insect head to me. Like, I get it because of the fangs, right? But they need to be more pronounced if it's Daisy, I think. It's supposed to be a saber-toothed tiger. They got some big chompers. We're just getting repositioning here. I mean, this one could be sucky. There's literally a worm coming out of it. Daisy's the closest thing? Possibly. I mean, I definitely get where you're coming from with Daisy. I get it. So bad guy's sacrificing this cassowary for basically no purpose. This is... Okay, so hold on. This is an interesting break. I get why Urk did this, because now Jinsting has a clear shot here. However, excuse me, I feel like I would have rather left the terraform available for this, so you break it, you move up, you yoink this, and then crap all over their team. Then again, maybe bad guy never takes the bait there. I will point out, though, look at the key counts. 5 to 17. It's kind of a big differential, I'm just saying. Paddles coming in. Before everybody asks, this is a level 3 mummy in a roughly double-digit game. I swear I never know what I want to spawn. The thing is that being patient about it is not a bad thing. So sometimes if you're confused or you're unsure, your uncertainty could be your ally. Because in those scenarios, you have the opportunity to just simply react to what they do. Now, in this case, Urk is slamming Chuck. Is Chuck the answer here? I mean, I don't hate it. Of course, bad guy, fireballing, yield, murder wing, it'll heal up. Well, it can't heal up, actually, because of the conveyor tiles. Chuck was purely because, fuck it, we ball mentality prevailed. All right. Ball is life. The intrusive thoughts win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, all right, we're probably just getting repositioned. I was about to say, this is risky. Yeah, because you can paddles or, a tractor. This feels like bait. This has to be bait, right? Because if bad guy goes for this yoink or something, they're gonna get annihilated. You had to body block. If you were gonna leave it here, yes. All right, so we get the kill on Finnegan, presumably. Oh no, bad guy. Okay, so I thought they were going to kill Finnegan some other way and then attack with the mummy onto a tractor. Wait, can you not attack with this guy this turn it spawns? I don't think they attacked with the little guy, although it wouldn't have killed the attractor anyway. You can't attack, all right. All right, so this looks like cooked mummy. Obviously, we get the attractor yoink into the pit. Oh no, the attractor didn't go into the pit. Something else did, but we do get the takedown here from Klepto. Some variation of this was going to happen. When bad guy didn't kill the attractor and then move their entire team into range, it's like, all right, buddy, something bad's about to happen to you. I do like the Bachelor here. The Bachelor is kind of cute because if they kill it, you're about to make some real good new friends. Bad guy attempting to salvage what they can. Hold on, I want to hear the laugh. I want to hear the laugh. Yo, that is demonic sounding. Does Bo laugh like that? Or does Bo laugh at all? Giggles actually sounds like a horror movie villain. Like, it sounds like a demon showed up and possessed this thing. I feel like Bo has the more cartoony thing. It's higher pitched for Bo, same laugh though. Interesting. Yeah, I think Bo is more like, okay, you're still the crazy killer clown, but it's more of a joke, I guess. I guess if you were in a horror movie, it would still be horrifying. Terrifying. Not to repeat the same word over and over. But I think Giggles is more intimidating. Not gonna lie. Yo, that is a fetch all up in your face. But I think at this point, Urk has this pretty much in hand. Bad guy offering up some juicy splash here. Little bees action. I mean, that's a lot of orange panic points. But Urk is still doing okay. Okay, so this presumably was just a body block, prevent them from going to the heart instead of attacking. Because then otherwise Moly Bully could have burrowed to like here where Gravedigger is. Highly underleveled Klepto came in clutch. It put in work. This Klepto was earning its pay this week. Down goes Moly Bully. Down goes Snowball. GG, well played. Well played. Yeah, that push was ill-advised from Bad Guy, quite obviously. I mean, the mummy was underleveled. It was interesting to learn that you can't immediately attack with the mini-me's. But yeah, you can't... I mean, this is like one of the axioms of Phobies. You can't push in on an attractor and not kill it. Certainly not on a map with abyss tiles. And that close to your opponent's vault. Like, it is not... I got bad news for you, pal. You're about to have a very, very bad day. We've been hearing about this 49-turn game since the beginning of the stream, so let's see what it actually turns out to be. Pyro Abyss is the map. JustRandomSt, rocking the Razormouth avatar going up against Evil Razormouth, Doppelganger Razormouth, Mirror Universe Razormouth. I'm running out of comparisons. By running, I mean ran. Past tense. We're done. So we're getting standard stuff. Well, actually, no. I was going to say standard stuff from our hero, I guess. The Jin Sting is weird, because, like, I'm guessing Bad Guy just doesn't have access to Snowball yet. Excuse me. A throwaway game, by the way, so that explains all the bad plays. Fair. Well, Slammerhead on turn 2. That's weird. The biggest ultra-rare gaming comeback ever are the notes. All right, let's see. So far, no ultra-rares. Unless Snowball is, which I don't think it is. Do love some Slammerhead. Yet another honorary good boy. I love the way Slammerhead slams its tail. It reminds me... I don't know why, but it reminds me of a Stegosaurus. Like, the tail slap, I don't know why. Like, the first thing that comes to mind is Stegosaurus. Which, I don't think, like... I haven't kept on my dinosaur behaviors, but I don't think that that's a common Stegosaurus trait. I don't know. Somebody, I need a paleontologist to hop into chat and tell me. All right, ultra rare counter, go. Yeti. Why Yeti? I don't have any idea. Although Bad Guy, I guess, kind of has demonstrated that they don't have fire phobies, because otherwise there would be a Snowball on the board. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for people trying out different strategies and testing things out and seeing, okay, well, if everybody does this, what if I do this instead? Because you're not losing that much ground missing that panic point for a turn. 2 on the ultra rare counter. What? Unless you mean this turn. So now we got Steve's. Oh, you're right. Jar is an ultra rare. I keep forgetting Jar is an ultra rare because you start with it. because you start with it. Speaking of freeze, I got ice cream recently. I've been having fun with it. It seems fun. Don't let Master Dark hear you. They'll go ballistic. Surprisingly, it works out even in level 3. 3 on the counter, yes. The counter has increased. I love Steve's. He's just like dusting himself off. By dusting himself off, he's icing himself off, I guess. Oh, I guess bad guy. Yeah, your freeze plan is going to blow up in your face. I don't love the trap placement because this is a very easy trap for them to both activate when you don't want it. Well, I guess not both. It's just basically they can activate it when you don't want it. They have a yoink. They have a trapper themselves. It's on your side of the board. So it's going to cut off more of your positioning. So like if this were to detonate this turn, this area being locked off is more beneficial to them than you for the most part. Trading out, yield 1 keys here. I didn't realize Just Random didn't claim the top panic point until now. Huh. I guess at the end of the day, whatever you're going to load up the board with traps anyway. There is a bit of non-synergy between the Fire Ant and the Yeti because if you end up freezing their stuff and then they cook their own stuff, they're going to thaw. 4 on the counter. We have a 4th ultra rare. Per chat. Why wasn't it letting me click on bully? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Just confirming. I made it work, though, somehow. I mean, yes. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just kind of a non-bow as opposed to combo. So bad guy playing, like, hyper defensively, which is kind of weird. They're playing so defensively, it allows our hero to push out a little bit. 9 keys to 9 keys. We're going to trade out some 1 keys. The Woolly Bully being here is whatever. I'll be honest, I don't really understand the Woolly Bully. What's funny is you probably did need that extra damage there. You couldn't just snowball it off the stem because Tickles is incredibly tanky. So bad guy paddles. I don't love it. This has to detonate a trap, right? Yeah. John, how weird would it be if you could chain detonate the traps? Like, if a trap getting detonated next to a trap activated the other traps. That would just... Oh, no. The Tickles lived. Yeah, bad guy being underleveled is, This is exactly what I was referring to earlier, by the way. Like, bad guy walks up and then just casually plops a trap here, and that's not an unreasonable place for them to put the trap. So if you can't get your traps on their half of the board, now you have to retreat. 11. Well, they were lower stress level, but, like, the phobies on the board don't seem to be... And that's the thing, is stress level can be deceptive, where clearly, if you're a lower stress level, you have access to less stress phobies, and overall your team is going to be less powerful. But if all of your most used phobies are at that higher level, you can still end up with even games sometimes, because you're only going to get so many phobies on the board, and if all of those are viable or reasonable, then it's fine. Also, when was the last time we saw one of these things actually activate on the stem? That's insane. This is a good play from bad guy, sniping the good boy here with that extended Miss Moffat running the marathon there. Bad guy seems to be in a good position, I'm not going to lie. They got some quick picks here. They're going to be able to claim this panic point back. I feel like they should have just gone for the panic point. Could the Jin Sting have not reached? We do get the freeze here. You have to be positioned, unfortunately, in the fire to avoid the damage from the jar, which would have been more. Ginseng attacked the statue. Oh, true. So a little bit of fire damage, but Hevo 3.0 showing up. Terraform still live, which means that technically Hevo 3.0 is a 3-range phobie. Kinda, sorta. You gotta take down the spider, though. Can't suffer the spider to live at this stage. Get a solid AoE hit here. So I do like the snowball positioning, because while you will take some damage, obviously Hevo's very tanky, you have body blocks, so they have to get through that stuff first, but the snowball could force them into activating the trap. So it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. Oh, maybe not. They're just going to let it die. Okay, they must have realized the potential for the trap. And I was incorrect. You didn't have to kill the spider on that turn. Obviously, it had another turn of freeze, so now you can lay into it. 0 keys to 5. Honestly, our hero is still in a decent spot. Fire Ant's still live. You have Hevo 3.0. How healthy is the Yeti? Yeti's pretty healthy. The thing is that the Woolly Bully can still pose a significant issue. If it lands on the Hevo, it is kind of difficult for the Hevo to do anything for the duration. Its attack kind of sucks at that point. Because you're basically relying on, like, the fire damage, and clearly that's not that much. But you do still have the Terraformer, which, as mentioned, can extend the range. It can do other stuff, but this, again, bad guy calling out where the traps are. I think they kind of knew, simply because of the snowball positioning previously. So our hero might have to make some trips to the healing spa. We still have 20 turns left to this game, so I'm sure that happens. Unless bad guy decides to push in, which I doubt they will. They have a panic point advantage. They have a trapper. They know that our hero was laying traps. They also have more keys. There's a lot of advantages in bad guy's favor. Also, during Ted's breathing animation, his, like, the hole in his chest kind of, like, throbs. This is also hilarious. It's funny because they're frozen, but this is going to thaw, or thaw faster because of the fire. That's actually comical. I don't know about the sacrifice there, but I guess you do need to flip the panic. Do you need to flip the panic points? I don't know about that. I think you get more value hanging on to the Gravedigger. You could argue, yeah, you need to flip the panic points, but I don't know that you need to flip them right this second. Also, bad guy's in for a bad day right now. Oh, bad guy. Maybe they wanted to do that to thaw their Jeeves. Is the Yeti dead anyway? Probably not. Not only is it unlikely to die, if they come in, you can punish them with the Hevo and the trap, most likely. Maybe not the trap, but certainly with the Hevo. So Ted seems like it might actually be a challenge here. Bad guy's certainly not out of it. They can wear you down. Hypothetically, anyway. But that one trap from 2 turns ago or whatever is sitting there for a while. Can't quite kill the Ted, which is obnoxious, but bad guy's probably not going to leave it there. And Klepto will get a parting shot and then walk away. This is presumably repositioning just to allow for the, Wait, really? This seems like a mistake by bad guy. So, They could have attacked with this. The Klepto was here, and they just didn't attack. If you're going to put it here, at least soften these up. Make the Yeti sit on the spa longer. Help chip down the Hevo. The Ted is just unlucky that it stepped on a trap, which obviously adds up for this. And I have to assume that the math for our hero was in favor of, hey, you can't kill the Evo. Like, there's no threat to it, even though you can walk up with a bunch of stuff. The Yeti, however, might be... Nah, the Yeti can't be in danger, because it's 2 hits, 1 hit, and that's it. Yeah, just kind of bullying bad guy at this point. I don't really like the Blinky play. I think you'd rather just... Like, they had a Gin Sting already, right? Yeah, they already used Gin Sting. Maybe Daisy. I want some mobile ranged guy, because the positioning is going to be crucial. I could see the argument for the melee, because then it's like, oh, well, I'm on top of their guy. On top of the Hevo. But then no matter what... You know, like, you want to be able to set up a spread concave so that they don't splash the crap out of you. And I feel like Blinky doesn't help you do that. I guess it kind of does, because maybe you can attack from behind. I don't know, I just don't feel like Blinky's doing anything. Ah, is that good or bad, Atona? Because just because it's not like Hearthstone doesn't mean that it's good. It could be not like Hearthstone and still be bad. So yeah, our hero has had an eternity to set everything up that they wanted. This Ted is just like... Time out. Whose side is this Ted on? Because this Ted is just cooking bad guy left and right. Like, every time I turn around, the Ted is like, I'm going to stand next to my friend and get hit by Hevo. I'm going to stand over here and set off a trap. I'm going to stand over here and set my friend on fire. Like, Ted, my guy. With friends like you, who needs enemies? Oh, that's interesting, Atona. That's interesting. I'm excited to check this game out. I don't know if it's in time for tomorrow for variety, but we'll see. We might do Pokemon for variety tomorrow, only because I have a tournament to prepare for, so I kind of need to test a little bit, get a better feel for the deck I might run. Ugh. Yeah, seriously, chat, am I wrong in thinking that Ted lost the game for bad guy? Not like Ted has thoughts of his own, and he's doing this on his own, but, like, let's be real. Boom! There's that AoE everyone loves about Hevo. Down goes Klepto. Paddled Ted. What are we talking about now? But yeah. Bad guy, I guess, was accepting defeat here. I can't believe the jar didn't die. What level is your Hevo? That's only level 4. Okay. Didn't you see Paddled buff Ted? I did, but, like... I was too busy explaining why Ted sucks, and Ted is causing bad guys' demise. We do actually get the Wooly Bully connection. We do get more cooked walrus. Cooked undead walrus. Oh, bad guy. At this point, bad guy was clearly tilted, right? Bad guy had to be, like, super duper tilted at this stage. And I can't really fault them. Like, let's be real. Let's be real. That's a lot of fire. That's a lot of fire. Ball game. GG, Just Random. GG. Well done. Yeah, there was a level differential, but stress level, but it seemed like they were pretty close. It just seemed like, I don't know, there were a lot of things weird going on in that game. Well done. What game am I competing in? I have a Pokemon TCG tournament coming up, hypothetically, if I go. If I end up going. But chat, I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to put a game on. Of course, we have the ladder changeover, so things are going to be a little weird. We're just going to put on a random person's game. Not that's... you have simultaneous turns. In a turn, you get 5 things. Cards cost X amount, but enter happen on Y. So, like, a card can cost 4 points, but can enter play on the second, potentially. Attack can cost points. Things delay after they attack, so you can't just attack every turn. And also, what you need to do to win changes based on your leads. You get 3 leads. You need to meet 2 of their goals. So sometimes you just want to play dude. Sometimes you want to fight. Sometimes you want to perform. One of the leads actually rewards you for having to die a bunch. It's weird. That sounds super complex. That sounds really complex. But also another game. Chat, I got a DM from somebody, well, it says deleted user in Discord. I don't know that I really want to click on that and see what that message is. Even if they literally named themselves deleted user, I have to assume that it's a troll. More likely it was someone's account got removed and it's just a spam thing. All right, we're cycling back because we have some duplicates in the queue. In this case, Karst, our hero up against Alien Engineer. Thunder Rocks used. I barely survive Alien Engineer's cheap turret push as player 2 on Chlorophobic. Chlorophobic is a map that I would say I debate with people a lot, but I don't. It's really, it boils down to this for me. Until someone consistently proves to me, like me playing against people, that the turret push doesn't work, I'm going to keep doing it because it just wins. And the goal is to win the game. I've had lots of people that I absolutely trust explain how and why the turret push won't work. And I think this is a reasonable response. Like, because a turret is going to end up in either this spot or this spot and then get softened up, and then therefore you can pop out a murder wing or a snowball, maybe both, and blow it up. I think it's reasonable. People are defending Chlorophobic on the main Discord. This is why aliens will never visit us. Well, they might visit, but they're not going to interact. The thing is that, like, I get it. I get it. And as I said, Karst, I think DT, a number of other people that I respect have said on many occasions that, like, this map is fine and it actually provides interesting gameplay. Vast majority of my games, that's not true. But I think what Karst did here is reasonable to try and push away a turret walk across the top or the bottom of the map, respectively, depending on how your key situation goes. Like a lobber set up there softens it up and then allows you to potentially kill the thing later. In this case, uncontested unicorn across the board. So, and the Hevo from Alien Engineer means that there is a threat here. So Karst has not, I don't want to say they've neglected the corn, but they've kind of neglected the corn. And in fact, the phobia of the hour, it is Thunder Rocks. Thunder Rocks hits the board. I get why. Is that really the answer here? I mean, I don't know. Because now you have to clear this thing out first. And that's over 900 damage hitting the heart. And it's a triple panic point advantage. This is very aggressive from Alien Engineer. I don't know that I would quite classify this as a turret walk, even though that is quite literally what happened. So I do like the Finnegan response on this. It obviously dislodges the turret from being on the stem, meaning that the damage represented is significantly different. It could walk back, but, you know, then you're wasting an attack, that sort of thing. Sock acid, not nearly as effective when it can't poison, obviously. But I do like this, and it is pretty Pretty tense moment, because we're looking at a screaming unicorn here. I kind of want to make this the thumbnail. I haven't thought about what the thumbnail is going to be for this chat, but this is kind of funny. Like, just put unicorn and have it screaming. Just shrieking unicorn. What level is this? It's a level 12. It's a level 19. This is interesting. I mean, Karst is under a lot of pressure here, but certainly not dead yet. Snowball to reclaim the triple panic point advantage by Alien Engineer. I guess Thunder Rocks is doing its thing. Second Droney hits the board. I feel as though Droney is much more common on this map than most others, which sounds weird, but the reality, I think, is obvious that, hey, you need to be able to reclaim these points or push your aggression by claiming the points. So Karst stabilizes to a degree, but we do have K9000 onto the heart. And Hevo actually elects to walk over onto the stem despite the positioning here from both Tooth Fairy and the potential Hevo here. Spud is the follow-up. Makes sense because you want or need some lobs. Clearly, Karst is going to be body blocking. Get the takedown there. Contortio is going to supplement, of course. I imagine Droney. Yep, Droney's... Ooh, Droney can get the kill here. Droney with the kill. This feels like just kind of a set of errors. I mean, maybe... What else could you have done as Alien Engineer? I don't know offhand if Murder Wing has more health, and if it does have more health, would it have even lived through double hit into Droney? Enemy surrendered. So, there were a couple mistakes there that Spud has more health. Okay. Like, the Spud sacrifice, I mean, maybe the writing was kind of on the wall and Alien Engineer was hoping for a miracle. Typically, when I see the turret walks, you don't go like one key unicorn. It's, I'm walking a Stabby or a Bow Mangles, therefore more health. So it wouldn't have gone down as quickly. But without the pressure from the one key, that means that Karst's Hevo response would have been able to just immediately start hitting the turret and softening it up, as compared to having to deal with those one keys that were reclaiming things back and forth. If I recall correctly, I do believe that people had said that this sort of response, or there was one where somebody just said pass and bank to 6, and I don't remember what you get. Like, I don't think it was Klepto. Was it? Somebody's going to have to correct me. There was something else. Was it Klepto? I mean, that's the only lobber that I could think of for 6 keys, but it was something similar to this, where it's just, okay, I'm going to bank. I'm going to get a larger lobber on the board that allows me to, well, tag the turret as it walks. And that does seem to be a reasonable response to walk the turret. Nobody does it. Well, not nobody, but you get what I'm saying. It's something to keep in mind. It's something to keep in mind, and I need to keep it in mind for the next time I'm on this map, because a lot of people love to do this. So, GG. I mean, to be honest, I often just match the turret walk and go, okay, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to do it better, or my guys over-level yours, so it doesn't matter. It's a much more stable response than what most people do. The responses usually, like, people seem to panic and they're like, oh, well, I'll spud early on. It's like the spud isn't doing enough damage, or that you would overextend the spud and it just dies. You know, I don't know. But anyway, let's jump into the next one. Back on deck, Dino Nuggy on the Once Lord. This map needs to go away. Hevo 2.0 is my favorite of all the Hevos. I can't imagine why that would come up on this map. Can't even begin to think of why. You may or may not detect a skosh of sarcasm in my voice. Because that response was sarcastic. It was. I know, it's hard to believe. But that was, in fact, sarcasm. Yeah, chat, as far as the last game goes, I do, like I said, I do respect people who say that Coulrophobia has those sort of responses. But I'm still of the opinion, like, until players prove that to me, I just kind of don't care. Frequently, I can just walk the turret and it doesn't matter. Nobody responds with Hevo. But I think this goes back to the discussion we were having earlier and realistically yesterday about the floor is lava, and that people just don't think about what they could or should do in a lot of cases. This is kind of aggressive from Bad Guy, going after this. Like, I have to assume this will not live. Yeah, so Dino Nuggy just runs away. Probably tried killing the Maggie and then went, oh, I'm going to die anyway. So Bad Guy's able to push up aggressively here, but our hero is going to be able to build some stuff up. You have a button to press. I do appreciate that they send in the Contortio, because, like, what's the point in pulling it back? Pterodactyl is the follow-up. Pterodactyl's recently been getting beat up by a lot of people. The biggest fan who never types. Shout out to Luffy. Shout out to all the lurkers. Shout out to all the lurkers. I never wanted to be one of those streamers to, like, because I don't know how many there are, but I always hear horror stories about these streamers who are like, you need to talk in my chat, and, like, they yell at chat, and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with people? People are weird. People are weird. Which is, I mean, is true anyway, but... This game is also weird. It's a 4-to-1 panic point advantage at this time. There's really no safe way for Dino Nuggy currently to dislodge this pterodactyl. This can't reach, so it's not like you can break this and yoink it forward and do something with your other non-existent threats. But it did give Bad Guy time to get their own spider on the board. Quagmire, of course, able to safely claim points, because guess what? That guy's... he's got big butt. He's got big butt, and he's slimy. It's gross. It's gross ass water. We already had that discussion. Chad, I don't understand the algorithm. I don't understand the algorithm to begin with, but I absolutely don't understand the algorithm for YouTube Shorts and what's popular or why people like certain shorts versus other ones. Like, people don't seem to like any of the gameplay shorts that much for Phobies, but they, like, some of the funny moments, like when I got Werewolf the other day, people seem to like that short, but not the one where we got multiple globs on globs or, like, funny boops or things like that. It's weird. I don't get it. I had a funny idea last night of countering Furnace Face with Graylian. Well, not Furnace Face directly. You can swap cheap stuff and Graylian will end up in the smoke and won't die. That's kind of cute. That's cute. I think you first have to encounter someone who actually has Furnace Face, which is probably more difficult than it sounds. Alright, so Bad Guy pressing up here. I can appreciate the aggression out of Bad Guy. Putting on some pressure onto our hero here. Do we have a Terraform available? We're about to find out. I feel like there's a Terraform in our future. Never mind, we're going to do it this way. Boop! Got him. How many of you out there would trade a Droney for a Miss Moffat? I'm going to go, it's a greater than 0 amount of you. Now, the spider may end up paying with its life here. It is possible that, like, double jar hit, meatball, pterodactyl can do it in. But that would also leave Bad Guy open to a bunch of counter kills. Because you're not killing that Hevo 2.0 from this position. Or you certainly shouldn't be able to. Maybe it's possible. But given that they're leaving jar there, it looks like they're going to go for it. Spider turning to face its doom. Squash the spider. There's still a regular Hevo up in the north, so 8 keys to 8 remaining. Panic point advantage swings in favor of our hero. Ooh, the aggressive push with the Hevo and Quagmire. I feel like you might have been better off body blocking with the Quagmire. Wasn't it in position to... like here, 1, 2, 3. I guess it couldn't reach. This seems like it's a dead pterodactyl. Or not. It's a dead murderwing. It could be a dead pterodactyl if they leave it here, which bad guy has to be willing to retreat here. One slow without obstacles looks weird. I wonder how much more playable this map would be if there just weren't obstacles. It obviously changes the entire scope of the map, and I don't know that a tractor or a Kira are suddenly, like, unplayable on this map. They're certainly worse, but you can be worse and still be really damn good, right? Zappy and Erratic into Hevo 2.0? Press X to doubt. I feel like there was a better turn there. So bad guy, they use Murderwing, they use Jar. Snowball can't reach. You have to have, like, Tooth Fairy or a couple of other things to be able to kill this, but you just need another... well, you need specifically a flying ranged guy. That would potentially make them more powerful because there's nothing to hide behind. Possibly. Possibly. I'm thinking more that there's more surface area for you to position in. So, like, you aren't necessarily forced to press up. Like, you can play farther back without being, like, all the way back. But, I mean, either way... let's put it this way. I don't think the map can get much worse. So, I don't know that removing the obstacles is really going to hurt us all that much. Yeah, guys, your pterodactyl just dead. Okay, it's full health. Never mind. Quagmire tanking it out. Yeah, you got to pull back, but 4-1 panic point advantage, although temporarily. Bad guy's in a really rough spot because I don't know what do you claim the panic points back with? Because whatever comes in here is dead. I haven't won single game on this map, and Death hasn't won yet. What? All right, what do we got here? Get wrecked, nerd, is what we got here. Just picking off the team. I mean, even if we assume that bad guy was much closer to victory than they are, because, like, look at that hard health. I don't, like, you would have to be way more ahead to be able to claim the panic points back and win that way, and there's just no world in which you're killing all of our heroes' phobies. Hevo will be back online long before then. I mean, look at this. I don't think Erratic dies, but you can just, like, just walk away. And obviously Erratic is not... I mean, you can kill the Gravedigger, but you're not killing the Quagmire, which is the thing that matters. This is interesting. I mean, this claims all the panic points and threatens the heart, so I get it. I'll be honest, I don't know that it matters anything our hero does. Like, no matter what they do, they win. Evo 2.0 does go down. But I'm pretty sure Erratic is toast, in which case... Alright, it's 5 phobies to 1 with all the panic points. Good luck. You could just literally run away for, like, forever, and it would be fine. And by forever, I mean a single turn. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, the Hevo plays were definitely good. Getting the setup so that you can force the boop into the pits. But GG. Bad guy can't hang. GG. Screen got messed up again. Dog walked through. I just noticed that. I don't know how long it was like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for the once lore other than get rid of it. I always like to say that the maps are the balancing factor for the phobies. You know, like, rather than nerf or buff a phobie, design the map such that it is better or worse. I don't know that the reverse can be said of the phobies to the map. So, for example, is it possible to say, we create new phobies that make the once lore fun? I mean, I guess anything's possible, but that seems really unlikely. It's more likely the once lore just sucks, and it's irredeemable. Not even necessarily that it's more likely, it's just like, how much effort do you have to put in to do this? I don't know. So Potentia 2 is our hero here, a very aggressive game on Dearly Departed, strat inspired by Gemery, who stole it from Karst. Alright. Sure. Karst always an innovator, which I can appreciate. There are several players that are absolutely innovators for this game. There aren't a lot, I don't think. Or at least not as many as there could be. You know, like, there's a lot of players that will try new things, but maybe not put in the effort to refine it. Like, actually try and make something happen on a consistent basis on the same map and, like, really test it. As I've said on many occasions before, I don't feel that there's enough of an incentive, is what it boils down to. The ladder rewards are not enough. Free cast pick, oof. Yeah, I mean, that kind of sucks. You couldn't put the cassowary anywhere else. Otherwise, it gets yoinked anyway. I guess you could have just not sent it in. But this is now a 5-2 panic point advantage. Yoink is down, obviously. And we'll see how bad guy wants to proceed here. This is wildly aggressive. This is just a lot of bodies. And this is interesting because these are melee, of course. Meaning that there isn't a whole lot of surface area if the spider comes in. It's never going to, because it would just die. This is reasonable. Get a Ray Chargels in order to shoo away the Hevo. The Hevo is going to vacate anyway, just simply because of the spider. So hilariously, with the way this is set up, the cat is trapped, which is funny. I don't think it's going to be that relevant, but the cat can't escape. I was going to say both of them, but then our hero killed the cowbell. So we're getting Noxious coming in. So this is turn 8. This is bad guy's 4th turn. Look at the board state right now. Like, this is a pretty significant advantage. You got the 5-2. You have something threatening the heart. Yes, you still have 6,300 health, but this is yet another map where it's like, okay, there's a choke point to try and get in here. So depending on where the offensive is coming from, it may be difficult to deflect it. You have a flyer, a lobber, a ranged guy. Obviously, the 1 keys can squeeze in there, but it may be challenging to defend this if you don't prioritize actually defending. You know, if you get lazy about your defense, it might not be too difficult for Potentia to just take you down. This boomer has been hanging around like way too long. It's actually comical. I don't know why the spider didn't move. Did the spider do something like while I was talking? There's nothing. Why didn't the spider move? Is that just an error? I guess they didn't want to move it here because then it could get splashed by the Noxious, but you could have put it here. If you put it here, then, like, you could yoink this Hevo, which may or may not matter. But at least it's, like, more engaged in the game than what it was going to be otherwise. Like, now it's... They really aren't interested in defending? Yeah, like, this is what I was talking about. If you... This is just a mistake. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's only a 1-0 panic point advantage. And yes, you still have 5k health. But you're going to give up your stim momentarily. You have a very healthy offensive staring you down. And, like, this boomer is probably going to end up claiming this point for what that's worth. Because it's going to die and something will replace it. But, like, this is not enough to deflect this. And unless your response here is Hevo 2.0, in which case maybe the boomer is valuable to ensure that things don't get booped. I don't know how that sequencing works. I feel like we saw that before. Say, like, if you booped the cat and it kills the boomer, does the cat still get displaced? I'm pretty sure it does, but I'm not sure. You don't even... They didn't even kill the Stairmaster. All this effort and you didn't even kill the Stair... Is this just like a surrender here? Okay, so we did get the Hevo 2.0. Did get a Hevo 2.0. So here's a question. How does this, like, if the Hevo is here, does it displace into the pit? This feels like it should be an obvious one, but I could see a world in which it goes north. I'm assuming it would displace into the pit, and Potenzi is doing this just to avoid that. Because, like, from here, there's no... I don't think there's any way that you could displace... Wait, 1, 2, 3... Yeah, you can't get the Murder Wing up there. There's, like, no way to displace it and have it come this way. There's just no defending this now. This game is over. So bad guy is now... like, they're claiming panic points back. They finally have an advantage temporarily. They did get the displacement here, but I'm pretty sure this can kill the Hevo. And even if it can't, maybe you just go face and don't care. Maybe it can't kill the Hevo, because you're only going to get one hit from this. Nope, it's dead. So, I do like this game plan, this strategy. The problem I have with it is, and this is entirely something that's fair to put on the strategy and say it's good enough anyway. But bad guy did absolutely not respect this whatsoever. I don't know what the hell they were doing fooling around down here. I mean, you had to do something because otherwise our hero would be able to claim all 3 of these points, and then, like, you die to panic point pressure. But I think their response was, like, kind of pathetic. Their response was not strong, and as a result, like... I was about to say, can you boop this into the pit, but there's just no way that should work. I refuse to accept that working, even if it does. Lol. You get the displacement anyway. This is what, like, real talk, this is what I want to see on every single map. Every single map. Because what should happen here is our hero goes through this aggressive game plan. And it wasn't like it wasn't telegraphed. You could have seen this coming from, like, entire continents away. Galaxies away. You could tell this attack was coming, right? And bad guy made a choice not to defend properly. Okay, so they lose. What happens if they defend properly? Clearly, our hero can't just crash upon the wall of the defenses of a bad guy, right? Because they probably get shattered. So then the response becomes, okay, how do you counter the counter? And this is similar to what we were talking about for the floor's lava the other day with the alien engineer aggression versus Hakune's defense. It's the play, counterplay, counter-counterplay, counter-counter-counterplay. And that's where the, not just metagame, but the revolving strategies come in and becomes more interesting. But the first step is people doing what Potenzia just did to bad guy and just bodying them through aggression, because it's like, all right, I'm going to do this. Stop me. And if you can't, you lose. And if it can't be defended, like if it's literally undefendable, okay, then something needs to change. That to me is a balance issue, where if you go first on this map or going second, you know, depending on how things work out, like if it comes down to the coin flip of who goes first, that is an imbalance game to me and something that needs to be addressed. It gets really complicated because what if this phobia is only good on this map and only going first, and there it's overpowered, but everywhere else it sucks. And if you nerf it, then it just doesn't get used or negatively impacts this other scenario. Like maybe it's important for a defense on another map, and it gets really complicated. But again, the first step of all this stuff is going to be figuring that out. And I don't think we're in a position to say that all that stuff's figured out. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We actually did 11 games. We weren't supposed to do that one, chat, but that's all right. We'll get one extra. How about that? All right, chat. So we're going to call it an evening. I do need to pull this down. I got to do a bunch of editing because there's actually now 3 videos. We got this. We got the Floor's Lava discussions, which are, it's technically 4, but I'm counting that as 1. And then we have Monster of the Week that I want to get all edited up and loaded up this week. Monster of the Week is planned for next week. By the time this video goes live, Monster of the Week will be tomorrow. So right now, Monster of the Week is Saturday afternoons Eastern. I might move the time up a little bit to coincide with like what we're doing for Fright Night. The signups will be closer to that, but you got to hit up the Discord so you know when that, and also, of course, the first details for Fright Night. As you may have seen, Fright Night's not happening this month. It's December. There's a lot of stuff going on. We'll pick it up again in 2024. Not too long before that happens, chat. I think that covers all the news. We'll be back tomorrow for variety. I'm not sure what we're going to be playing. Maybe play some Pokemon. Maybe try some new stuff. I did pick up some other non-strategy games that I kind of want to play. Hunt, of course. Merc Christmas. Merc Christmas. Merry Chrysler. Have to know what video that is. Or, like, I guess it's a sound bite. But, yeah. That's kind of where we stand. We'll see how things go. We're going to call it an evening for now. We'll be back tomorrow and then, of course, next week. But as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And tune in next time for more Random Thoughts.